was your favorite teacher? In a program called Humans of New York, a youngster was asked, "Who's influenced you the most in your life?" "My principal, Miss Lopez," he replied. "How has she influenced you?" "When we get in trouble, she doesn't suspend us. She calls us to her office and explains to us how society was built down around us. And she tells us that each time somebody fails out of school, a new jail cell gets built. And one time, she made every student stand up one at a time, and she told each one of us that we matter." Nadia Lopez started a school in Brownsville in New York City, a community fraught with violence and brokenness. She realized that what was needed to bring better behavior from the kids was not more policing or rules of conduct, but more love. Every day she announces over the intercom, "If you don't hear it today from someone else, hear it from me. I love you." Her school has seen dramatic results, with students graduating high school against all odds and many going on to attend top colleges. Miss Lopez is a good teacher, not because she knows how to educate, but because she has a heart for her students. One of the titles given to Jesus is teacher. Not only was he referred to as a teacher or rabbi nearly 50 times in the Gospels, but he also called himself a teacher. In John 13, Jesus says, "You call me teacher and Lord, and rightly so, for that is what I am." Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. It would make sense that as the embodiment of truth, he would be a teacher. He was a rabbi who had his own disciples. It was not the usual rabbinic school common in the day, because Jesus was not recognized by the religious elite, and his disciples were unschooled. Yet when he taught, the people were amazed and impressed. Luke writes, "Then he went down to Capernaum, a town in Galilee, and on the Sabbath he began to teach the people. They were astonished at his teaching, because his message had authority." Secretly, there were some of the religious leaders who acknowledged the authority Jesus had. When Nicodemus came to Jesus by night, he said, "We know that you are a teacher who has come from God." Jesus was captivating in what he taught, because it was like nothing they were hearing from the scribes and Pharisees. Where these teachers taught the law as restrictive and impossible to follow, Jesus brought life and love and freedom. The teachers of Israel became jealous to the point that they wanted to silence him, to arrest him, or even to kill him. His popularity was something they couldn't abide. There is a wonderful story about how some guards were dispatched to arrest Jesus, but they became captivated by his teaching and returned empty-handed. John records the conversation. Then the guards returned to the ruling priests and Pharisees, who asked them, "Why didn't you bring him?" "Never has anyone spoken like this man," the guards answered. The Pharisees responded, "You haven't been led astray also, have you?" The content of Jesus' teachings has stood the test of time and is known worldwide as the greatest teaching of truth ever. Some of what he said 2,000 years ago is known and quoted today by believers as well as those who don't even know the origins. Think about these sayings of Jesus. "Do to others as you would have them do to you." This is called the golden rule today. "Love your enemies." Still a big challenge in our fractured world. "Love your neighbor as yourself." "Don't worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself." "Turn the other cheek." "The first will be last, and the last will be first." "Render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's." It is more blessed to give than receive. John 3:16 is one of the best known and most loved verses, and many times we can see a poster with this verse held aloft at sports or social gatherings. And what about the beautiful Beatitudes, and of course, the Lord's Prayer that is prayed daily all over the world? His teachings were also challenging and spoke to the heart condition of humanity. He called people to a higher way of living and loving. So instead of not committing adultery, Jesus said we should not look with lust. Instead of not murdering, we should not even harbor thoughts of anger against someone. He also taught with power, not only with words, but with a demonstration of the supernatural ability he had through the Spirit. So when he spoke about being the light of the world, he healed a man born blind. And when he wanted people to realize that the Sabbath was made for man and not the burden that it had become, he set people free from their infirmities, forgave them and healed them, sometimes exposing the hypocrisy of the teachers of the law. One Sabbath, Luke records, when Jesus went to eat in the house of a prominent Pharisee, he was being carefully watched. There in front of him was a man suffering from abnormal swelling of his body. Jesus asked the Pharisees and experts of the law, "Is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath or not?" But they remained silent. So taking hold of the man, he healed him and sent him on his way. Then he asked them, "If one of you has a child or an ox that falls into a well on the Sabbath day, will you not immediately pull it out?" And they had nothing to say. Something I find quite remarkable is in the scene of the first person to witness the resurrection. Somehow, God reserved this privilege not for the most beloved disciple John or the natural leader Peter or any of the 12, but for a woman, Mary Magdalene. Mary had come from a place of extreme brokenness where 7 demons had to be cast out of her. Her life had been turned around and transformed by Jesus, and she had followed him even to the cross, and now at the tomb was hoping to come to anoint his body. And Jesus appeared to her. As he uttered her name in a way that surely meant the world to her, she could have responded, "My healer," in how he had set her free from her past, or "My Messiah," knowing that he was the anointed one now risen from the dead. But she cried out, "Rabboni, my teacher." Her relationship with Jesus was not defined by that one moment when her life changed many years before, nor the moment of her realization that he was the Messiah, but in the ongoing day-to-day journey that she had as a disciple of her rabbi, who shared truth, who transferred life, and who made the way for her to know the richness of God's grace. Jesus, the good teacher, had said to his followers, "The words that I have spoken to you are spirit and life." This is what Mary knew, and this is what we too can know. Yes, the God of salvation. Yes, the Lord victorious over sin and death, but also the good shepherd and the faithful teacher who brings life through his words. Israel would experience many generations where they would be lost and scattered like sheep without a shepherd, but there would be a hope in the coming of the teacher. Isaiah 30 verse 20. Though Adonai gives you the bread of adversity and the water of oppression, your teachers will no longer be hidden, but your eyes will see your teachers. Your ears will hear a word behind you saying, "This is the way, walk in it," when you turn to the right or when you turn to the left. Is it any wonder then that the final command of Jesus was a teaching command? "All authority in heaven and earth has been given to me," said Jesus at his ascension. "Therefore go and make disciples of all the nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything that I have commanded you. And I will be with you always to the very end of the age." Can you hear him call your name? May you respond, "Rabboni, my teacher."
When you speak, confusion fades. Just a word, and suddenly I'm not afraid, 'cause you speak and freedom reigns. There is hope in every single word you say. I don't want to miss one word you speak, 'cause everything you say is life to me. I don't want to miss one keep your word, and your promises will keep me safe. I don't wanna miss one word you speak, 'cause everything you say is life to me. Yes, it is. I don't wanna miss one word you speak. Quiet my heart, I'm listening. I don't wanna miss one word. I don't wanna miss one word you speak, 'cause everything you say is life to me. I don't wanna miss one word you speak. Quiet my heart, I'm listening. Quiet my heart, I'm listening. Your ways are higher. You know just what I need. I trust you, Jesus. You see what I cannot see. Your ways are higher. You know just what I need. I trust you, Jesus. You see what I cannot see. Your ways are higher. You know just what I need. I trust you, Jesus. You see what I cannot see. I trust you, Jesus. You see what I cannot see.